brake. But I've also got an oil leak up under here somewhere, and I'm not really sure what's causing it. I'm just stripping the thing off to have a bit of a look. I must have chose the worst place though. There's all these dead bits of car tyre, and there's a couple of dead kangaroos just there, just upwind from me. Absolutely stinking. Flies bad, eh? After my scooter broke down for the umpteenth time, I just got so sick of it I shipped it back to Brisbane. It didn't have any brakes anyway, so it was quite dangerous. I then headed on to Darwin by bus, where I was to liaise with Wyn Woods, the Nomad Gran. I'd read all about her in some newspapers and had spoken to her on the web, and I was really looking forward to catching up with her. She was travelling around Australia on a 50cc. Anyway, here's the Nomad Gran.
In the backyard, men sit at windows looking so hard, whistling at the woman walking down the street. They just look on down at their feet, or the rain's pouring down.
About 48 kilometres south of Perth. I went down to the southwest of West Australia. I didn't explore extensively there because I visited quite a bit. I went down to Albany, Esperance, then up to Norseman, and then across the Nullarbor.
Why did you go for the open face helmet?
Because I like to feel the wind on my face. I carry other water with me.
How much water did you carry?
There's a little hook over here that I carry. There's a bottle of water that sits there when I'm travelling, you know.
So what gave you the notion to... What made you want to do this?
What made me want to do this? Well, I've travelled extensively overseas. I've not been around Australia very much. So I thought it was about time.
You lived here for how long?
I've lived here for 18 years. Yeah. It's actually quite a long story, but I was in England last year, and I had bought a bicycle, and I was going to cycle back across Asia, back here to Australia. And my bicycle was in at the shop getting, Kevlar tyres and fancy pedals and all this put on it. I was going to collect it and start my journey on September the 14th. And on September 11th, everything changed.
So if it hadn't been for the Twin Towers falling down?
I wouldn't probably be doing this. No, I would be struggling across, or would have been struggling across Asia somewhere, yes.
In the Alps?
In the Alps, yeah. Yeah, well, I figured I'd start through Europe just a few kilometres a day, 20 kilometres a day and get fit. And I was all geared up to want to go somewhere. And I thought I'd travel across, or try travelling around Australia on the bicycle. And then I took my grandson to a motorbike show, and I saw scooters there, and I thought, well, it's very much like a bicycle, because you're out in the fresh air, you're going slow enough to be with things, but you've got no strain.
And you saw this Gypsy?
I saw this Gypsy at the motorbike show, yeah.
And that is it, you just had to have it?
Well, yeah. Yes, it just suddenly hit me that would be a great way to go around the country.
Tell us about the deal you got.
Well, I wrote to the manufacturers, who are Bolwell, PGO in Melbourne, and just asked them the feasibility of riding a 50cc around Australia. And I gave them a little bit of my background. I told them, I can physically do it. I just want to know whether the machine can. And they wrote back and said they'd recommend any of their machines. And then about a week later, I got an email from them saying they'd like to loan me a scooter for the duration of my trip, and offered me dealer backup throughout the country. So of course I immediately emailed back and said, yes, please.
Tell us, Wyn, what do your children think of you? You've got 2 children.
I've got 2 daughters, yes, both adults. Well, they pretty much. My eldest daughter said that it's usually.
Let's start again.
Shut up. Yes.
That's your eldest daughter, is it?
Yeah. No, she said it's usually the mum sits at home worrying about the kids. Go away. He's courting that one, I think. Nah. Come on, off you go. Hey. I'm fine, thank you. Okay, what do my daughters think of me? They're proud of me. Yeah, my eldest daughter says it's usually mum who sits home worrying about the children, but she's got over worrying now. I think she was worried at first, just because she'd heard so many horror stories about road trains and things. But yeah, now she's just proud. Yeah.
And so you've got 2 daughters,
I've got 2 daughters, yes,
and you've got 1 grandchild.
and I've got a 7-year-old grandchild. Yes, yeah, Joshua.
And is he the one that took you to the bike show?
He's the one that took me to the bike shop show, yes, and got very irritable because I stood there daydreaming in front of these scooters and he wanted to go and look at the Harleys. So he eventually hauled me away, but yeah, if it wasn't for him and his love for motorbikes, yeah, I probably wouldn't have seen them, so the idea wouldn't have come into my head. But how could you resist something called Gypsy? I mean, to me, my email is Nomad, and then to see a Gypsy.
Tell us about what you do on the long, lonely stretches of them.
What do? I sing very badly, and I reminisce a lot about my childhood. And yeah, I just think back on my life.
So you sing, sort of.
I sing.
Tell us about it. Sing us a song.
No way, no way. Yeah, and I throw in a lot of la-las and dee-dees because I've forgotten the words. But nobody hears me except the emus and the birds. And
What do you think you would do if you broke down?
I would stand on the roadside and look pathetic. I really have no mechanical knowledge, so I don't see the point in carrying an extensive toolkit. And the bike is small enough that I think it can be thrown onto the back of a pickup or a lorry if I had to be taken into the nearest town.
What would you say was the hardest part of travelling on a motorbike on your own?
On my own? Well, I don't know. I enjoy being on my own, so that's not hard. Being very facetious, the hardest part of travelling a motorbike is sitting all day, getting a very sore bottom. In the towns or in the cities, the disrespect that motorists have for 2-wheeled vehicles can be quite hard. You sometimes feel you're almost invisible.
You're very positive.
Oh,
outgoing
yes,
kind of person.
I guess.
You were
yeah.
saying you never used to be like that.
Oh, I did, but then I went downhill when things started going wrong in my marriage, yeah. But then I found myself again and more. I've always been an optimistic person, yeah. But just through life circumstances, I lost it.
And now you're loving life again. It's great.
Oh yes.
So everybody should buy a scooter.
I think everybody should buy a scooter, particularly single women. There should be more. You know, I've met men going out on motorbikes and all sorts of things, but there are so few women alone because we're taught to be scared. It's not the done thing, and I think it's so wrong that we so easily, we females, allow ourselves to fall into this sort of society's little, boxes they make for us.
Do you ever wash your motorbike?
No, I like the well-travelled look on it.
Whatever falls off is washed off by rain or
Yes.
vibrations.
Yeah. The only time I washed when the birds, I parked it under a tree and the birds had a little bit of fun. That I felt necessary to wash. Well, empty, it's an 80 kilograms anyway, and then with myself and my luggage, 130-ish. So yeah, just over 200.
And it's only 50cc.
And it's only 50cc.
Deregulated.
I take the Fifth Amendment. We don't have that here, do we? I've had it up close to 80, but that's where the red mark is on the speedo, which I pull it back down. That's usually with a tailwind. Yeah, I carry petrol in. Yeah. That's just a bit of big city paranoia, I think, locking it up. This was a basket that was supplied by them. It was just a silly little shape, I think, to put a few vegetables in if you go grocery shopping. It wasn't much good for long trips. So I put my bicycle basket on there.
So what do you keep in the toy box?
My tent, mattress, all my bedding, that sort of, sleeping bag, all that sort of stuff. I have 2 bicycle pannier bags that hang over the side here that I'd sewn straps onto, and that's my kitchen. I've got dry food stuffs mainly, and some pots and pans, and my flask and my coffee, which I can't live without. They go in the panniers. And then there's a small sports bag that sits on the back here that has my clothes in, which is just 3 changes of clothing and a warm top and some toiletries. So I don't have to worry about what to put on in the morning. It's there. I don't have a choice.
So when you get up in the morning, when you're on the road somewhere, first thing you do is you get the kettle on.
First thing I do is, certainly.
And then you get the coffee going.
And I get the coffee going, yes.
And you put some water into a flask.
And then I fill my flask up for the day. Yes, yeah. And I don't like skim milk. I carry those little containers of UHT milk. Sunlight.
So what do you do at night time? Just have the lights on?
Well, I don't drive at night.
Okay.
Because the lights are pretty bad on this. And my eyes are pretty bad at night. So.
And the kangaroos are pretty bad.
And the kangaroos are very bad, yes.
So you drive around the towns with your helmet up, and then when you're on the track,
I'll put it down.
Put it down because of the
insects and things
stones
flying around. Yeah, but I love the
Have you bought a new visor at all?
No.
Just had the one?
No, that's the original one. It's got a few scratches on it.
Yeah.
But like last night when I came back from the night markets, it is pretty hard to see. Yeah. And that's when you need it, because of the insects flying around. Yeah.
We had a cup of coffee, a good chat, and then we decided to spend some time up in Jabiru.
Now that's a different one though. Is that a Jabiru?
Yeah. Are you afraid?
Huh?
Are you afraid?
Yes.
People put boats in here all the time, you know.
Yes, I know they do, and the boat can protect them. What's going to protect me if he suddenly comes up there? Sometimes they roost over the water, and the crocs actually jump up and shake the trees to catch them. Might not look appetising, but it's healthy.
See what you're doing now, eh?
Yep. I hope you like crispy vegetables. The sign over there says no, don't drink the water.
Really?
Yeah, but the guy was walked past just as I was looking at it, and he got his wife to get me some water from their supply.
Okay.
shocking. Every
How big is he?
I think they are about. I saw
About 4 meters?
Just a few minutes ago 3 crocodiles. I was standing at rocks, and I think there was a big one and a small one. But it's not. Is it dangerous to stay there on the rocks or
To stay where? Where he is?
on the rocks there? Here? No, they can't climb it. Or?
Probably.
They can jump.
If you sat on the bottom rock,
Yeah.
he'd get you. But next one up, he wouldn't.
Okay. Ja, nicht da unten, du musst hier oben bleiben.
Ja.
Of course, we'll stay here. Dangerous.
Ein is not no good. Spy is
Okay.
sehr gut. Oh, here he comes.
Fish? Or?
Crocodile.
Well, I heard the flowers talking to the bees.
No, he's going the wrong way.
So that rocks again. Okay, see ya. Bye.
I think they prefer Japanese.
Sorry?
I
Yeah.
think the crocodiles prefer Japanese tourists.
Okay. Because they're so close to the water.
No, they're sweeter.
Okay.
Okay, auf Wiedersehen.
Pray to the weatherman, but he don't do nothing but he says he knows. A man who can Mr. Sunshine, won't you come around? Mr. Sunshine, visit our town. We worship all your radiant charms. Mr. Sunshine, come visit our town. I like to be flying in the sky when Mr. Sunshine decides to arrive, just to see the look on the wind and rain's face when he says, hey, get out of here, you're taking up my space. Mr. Sunshine, won't you come around? Mr. Sunshine, come visit our town. We will welcome you with open arms, and we'll worship all your radiant charms. Mr. Sunshine, come visit our town.
You're now on the home stretch. You've done so 3/4 or 4/5. So
Yeah, 3/4, yeah. Yeah.
and you've got the last final stretch downhill.
Downhill all the way, yes, tailwinds, yeah. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how long it is, but
And how long have you been on the road so far?
since the beginning of January, so very nearly 7 months.
Good luck then, Wyn. Good luck.
Thank you, Neil.
Have a win.
Thank you.
We said our goodbyes, then Wyn headed off into the distance. She only had 3,000 miles or so to go, so within the next couple of months she would make it home.